Hey guys, John here with another installment of Thoughts on Walks, and I want to talk about one of my favorite things today. If you guys have watched me for any period of time, you know that every day that I wake up, that I know I'm going to the movies later is a good day. I love going to the movies. It is what I look forward to the most. I never get tired of it. That thing of walking into a movie theater where there's tons of other film fans, the smell of popcorn in the air, the fact that we're going to go into an auditorium with all these other fans, we're going to laugh together, cry together, gasp together, think together, whatever. I love the movie-going experience. So a viewer wrote to me earlier today asking me about some of the things that frustrate me most, because over the last couple of weeks, we've actually talked about a couple of things on the show about things that are kind of taking away from the movie-going experience. Things that are frustrating lately about the movie-going experience. So I thought we'd put it all into one place and we'd talk for just a couple of minutes here about what are the three things that I think are damaging and really undermining the movie-going experience, and what are some ways I think we can fix those. Now, before I get into the things that I think are the problems, let me tell you one of the things that I don't think is one of the problems, and it's probably going to surprise you guys a lot. One of the things I don't actually see as one of the problems of the movie-going experience today is the cost of going to the movies. Now, don't get me wrong. I know going to the movies these days is not exactly cheap. It can be a little bit expensive to go, but there's a couple things. Number one, I think we as people and as consumers, we don't mind paying for things that gives us value. We don't mind paying for things that give us a premium experience. You know, I know a couple of buddies that they like a good beer, so they'll go to a bar and spend $30 on having a couple of beers a night. We don't mind paying money for good experiences. Again, I'm not saying it's not expensive to go to the movies these days, but I know a lot of us spend a lot more money on other things that aren't as good of experiences as going to the movies. So I'm just not listing that as one of the problems right now. But understanding that we are paying a lot of money to go to the movies these days, even though it's worth it to us if we really love going to the movies, it makes it that much more important that these movie theaters give us a great movie-going experience. As Edward Norton said recently, if you're paying a premium price to go to a good movie theater, you expect a premium experience. So these are three big things to me right now that detract or are taking away from this premium experience that I believe we're paying for. Now, we've talked about a couple of these on the show the last couple of weeks, so I'll just go through them here quickly. Number one, the amount of trailers and ads that play before a movie. Now, I've been complaining about this for a lot of years, and I'll just briefly go over it here again. But the fact of the matter is, you tell me that a movie is starting at 7 o'clock. Is it unreasonable for me to then want to have a movie start at 7 o'clock? After all, I'm paying to be there. I'm paying like $15. Sometimes you're paying $20 for a ticket to be there. This isn't a free TV network where you understand ads playing. I mean, I'm paying you for this experience. Why am I having to wait 20, 25, 30 minutes of trailers and ads and things like that before you get to the movie? To me, this is an unreasonable amount of time. Now, I don't mind the odd trailer because I think trailers can be a part of the movie-going experience. But having that much time, that much of your time that you paid for before the movie actually starts, I think is completely unreasonable. Now, I don't have any kids, but you know, I've had several friends of mine who do have kids complain about that. It's like, hey, we get a babysitter so we can go to the movies, but we never know what time we're actually getting home. It says the movie starts at, 7 p.m. It says it's a 2-hour movie, but we're not actually getting out of the movie at 9 o'clock. We're getting out of the movie at like 9:35. It's something they have to address. Another thing we've talked about recently on the show is 3D. Now look, I'm not a fan of 3D. Everybody knows that. But I don't mind that there are people out there who do enjoy the 3D experience. That's great. But recently on the John Campea Show, we did a poll. We asked people, how many of you, if you're going to go see the new Star Wars movie per se, if you had the choice to see it in 3D or 2D, which would you choose? Like 5,000 people voted on the poll, and 88% of the people said they choose the 3D screening. However, we've been seeing a growing trend in a lot of movie theaters that are only offering 3D screenings. I told this story, but it's worth repeating here. I go home to Canada every year, visit my family, take my mom to go see the movies when I do. And I wanted to take my mom to go see Bumblebee because she really wanted to see Bumblebee, which is great. I love that movie. So I get online to the Cineplex website to order tickets. And it turns out they had 8 screenings of Bumblebee Guess what? 7 of them were in 3D. Only one screening at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon was non-3D. And we're seeing this coming up, and we talked about it on the show the other day because a number of people have been experiencing that same problem with Star Wars in some of their theaters. Now, I'm not saying get rid of all 3D movies, although I wouldn't mind if you did, but I understand there's still some people out there that like those experiences great. But when you have 88% of the fans want to see it in 2D, why are you only giving them a small selection to watch 2D movies in? We are paying for a premium experience. Why not let us see the damn movies in an experience and in a format that we want to see it in? It's not a massive problem yet, but I've been recognizing it as a growing problem, and that's got to be corrected. The third big issue I have right now won't be an issue for everybody, and that's totally cool, but it is for me. When I go to the movies, I love going to the concession stand. I love getting my popcorn. I love getting my Coke Zero. It's just when I walk into a movie theater, my mouth automatically starts to water like a Pavlovian dog. I start yearning for that popcorn flavor, that popcorn and butter flavor. But then here's the thing that happens. I get there and I want to pay to buy some popcorn, to buy some soda or whatever. And then there's this huge, massive line to get it. So now I've shown up to the movie theater. Not only do I know I've got to sit through about 30 minutes worth of trailers, but I have literally, without exaggeration, I have stood in concession lines for over 20 minutes long just to get some popcorn and a soda. You are trying to sell us a premium experience. We're not going to spend 20 minutes just standing in a line just to get some popcorn. We're not going to stand in line for 20 minutes just for the privilege of giving you more money. That's not good. And it takes away, again, it's not a massive thing, but it's just another thing that detracts from the overall experience of going to the movies, an experience that we are paying a premium price for. I understand that different theaters will have different wait times. Some smaller theaters, you don't have to wait at all. Some theaters, you probably have to wait longer than I do. So those are the 3 main problems I see. Now, other people will have other problems like rude people in the theater. That's certainly an issue, but I got to admit, I haven't seen that happen as much lately. But maybe I'm just lucky by the theaters I go to. There are other issues. To me, those are the top 3. Now, I also want to acknowledge that movie theaters in the last number of years have done a lot already to give us a better movie-going experience. We've got a lot of theaters that have dine-in options now. Those are great. We have a lot of theaters that have leather recliners. Those are great. We have a lot of theaters now that have bars in the theater for both before and after. That's great. So the movie theater industry is doing a lot, and I want to recognize that, to give us better movie-going experiences. We got Dolby laser, dual laser projection. We've got new technologies in IMAX and all that kind of stuff. But while those are great, they don't make up for these other things that I think are taking away from the movie-going experience. Long wait lines at the concession stands, limited number of screens available for the movies in the formats that we want to see them in, and of course, the unbearable amount of wait time. If you're going to charge us those tickets, which I say I don't have a big problem with, but if you're going to charge what you charge for us coming to the movie theater, start giving us a premium experience. Anyway, guys, I don't expect you all to agree with all of my points. That's the point of this stuff. We're not supposed to agree. I don't expect you to agree, but jump down in the comments section, let me know what you think. That'll do it for this installment of Thoughts on Walks.